Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It's Monday review time as I look back at Saturday's gutsy 1-0 win at Adams Park as we took the 3 points home after our 1-0 victory against Wycombe Wanderers. Not a classic by any means, reading all the reports, looking at people's posts on social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Reading match reports of both local papers, that type of thing. But a massive, massive win nonetheless. And Steve Lovell was very pleased with it. And this is one of his quotes from his interview after the game, coming up on your screen. That is the quote from Steve Lovell. "We deserved at least a draw, and to sneak a win was the icing on the cake." He then went on to say that it was a gutsy performance. The boys dug in and they had to do the horrible things. Refreshing to see, refreshing to read, refreshing to watch, I'd imagine, if you was there. Because how many times have we sat and done a Monday review this season and listened to Steve Lovell bemoan how much we played well and decisions have not gone our way and we've not got what we deserved, and how often have we sat here and listened to Steve moan about players not doing their jobs properly. So great to read again, second time in 2 Saturdays, that we've done everything we had to do correctly. We've had a bit of luck when we've needed it, and we've earned the right to go and grab 3 points, and that's exactly what we've done. Pleasing to see Regan Charles-Cook come off the bench for his late cameo and pinch the winner from a Brandon Hanlon cross, his good mate. Really good goal. Great to see them two linking up, because they did that regularly right at the beginning of the season before both suffered dips in form and injury niggles. So yeah, really, really good Saturday. Shifts us 5 points clear of the relegation zone, and we are now closer to mid-table than we are to the drop zone, which is great to see. I think I predicted us to finish 11th at the start of the season, and for a long time that's looked a little bit optimistic, but now we're only 4 points off that position, which is quite incredible. So another big game coming up this Saturday, but we'll talk about that on Thursday. But yeah, defensively really good again. Blocks being made, tackles being made, headers being won. Great double save by Thomas Holy at the death, immediately after we'd scored from our old boy Adebayo Akinfenwa. First one with his forehead, second one with his shin. Then yeah, we earned that bit of luck. Wasn't orthodox at all from the big man, but he kept it out, and that's what he's employed to do, and that's what he's paid to do, and that's what he's done. I did tweet at the weekend about Thomas. 95 appearances now for the club. I think it was 23 wins in that time, and it's 20 in 76 games under Steve Lovell, which is about 36-37%, which is a decent record, is about where we end up. So good to see that. Wasn't as successful under Adrian Pennock and for one game under Peter Taylor. But yeah, since Steve Lovell's taken over on a full-time basis, Thomas has been one of our most consistent performers on the whole. And it has been good to see in the last few games that he is getting back to somewhere near his best after a season that I think we can all say has not been as good as his last. But he's one that plays every week, always tries to do the right thing even if it doesn't come off, and it looks like he's come through that sticky period and he's getting somewhere to near the player that we saw last season, which is great to see. But 2 people in front of him were immaculate again by all accounts, and it wasn't the first time recently. I did tweet Saturday night and said that I was so pleased for both of these two coming up on your screen. So let's do an in focus now. Connor Ogilvie and Max Amar, our current centre-back pairing, purely on the basis that we don't have anyone else available, so we've been forced into it to a degree, with Gabriel Zakuani, the captain, out for the rest of the campaign, and Alex Lacey injured again, unfortunately. Back in December, if we recall, Connor Ogilvie started a game at Bristol Rovers at left-back, and Gabby got injured after 15 minutes. Bradley Garmston came on to replace him, and Connor Ogilvie tucked inside and went in alongside Max, and both were really good in a 2-1 win. The Bristol Rovers goal only coming after Callum Riley had been sent off with 20 minutes to play. But even at the death of that game, when Bristol Rovers were chucking the kitchen sink at us, they both stood firm, both chucked their bodies on the line and earned us 3 points. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, I thought it was disrespectful to them two when plenty of our fans were tweeting the likes of announced relegation and that's the season done, and the like when Gabriel Zakuani's season-ending injury was announced a few weeks ago. And since then, they've been really good. We've won twice in 3 games with them 2 at centre-back since the injury. We've kept 2 clean sheets in that period. The only game we've conceded in was against Sunderland. And Sunderland, a third, have got a massive budget. You only have to look at their playing staff to know what type of club they are and where they should be. And it probably shouldn't be League One, in all honesty. So yeah, credit to Max Amar, who's become one of our most consistent players, one of our stalwarts, so to speak, and he is one of the more experienced players in the team now, in the squad. He is the captain at the moment. He's taken the armband since Gabby's injury, with Callum Riley not getting in the side. And it's great to see him leading the team out, and it's great to see him leading the team to victories. And Connor's been a brilliant next to him in the last few games. I do think he is better centrally, or as the left side of a 3 if he plays centre-back, or like I say, as part of a 2 that he's doing at the moment. I think at fullback, his slight lack of pace maybe leaves him a bit exposed against the best wingers in this division. But he's been immaculate at centre-half since he's gone in there. 2 clean sheets speaks volumes. And yeah, and on a bigger picture, since deadline day, end of January, we've played 5 times and we've only lost twice in that period, and that was to Sunderland, who are 3rd in the league, and Barnsley, who are 2nd in the league. Aside from that, we've taken a point off Coventry and we've beaten Scunthorpe and Wickham to 0. So the new boys are starting to have an impact. Continuity and consistency in team selection is helping. There's not been many changes in the 11 over the last few games, and that is obviously a benefit to us because it gives players the opportunity to build relationships on the pitch. It means that you can do more stuff off the cuff and on instinct because you know what runs people are going to be making, you know where your colleagues are going to be defensively, and you don't have to think about stuff so much. And I've always believed that if you're playing off the cuff with a bit of confidence, then you're a better footballer for it. So yeah, all in all, pretty positive. One slight negative again, unfortunately, was Billy Bingham, who only lasted 45 minutes, I believe, before being withdrawn with yet another injury problem. So sad to see. I think he's been restricted to just over 20 starts since arriving in the summer of 2017, and it's so frustrating for us as fans. I can only imagine what he's going through, and unfortunately, I compared him to Aaron Morris on Twitter over the weekend during the game. It's such a shame because when he plays, he does have an influence. You only have to look back to that game against Scunthorpe last weekend, and he was absolutely immaculate at the base of the diamond. Pinch possession, turned over possession, can pick a pass. He's very good in possession, and he gets us moving on the front foot. And he allowed the likes of Mark Byrne and Leonardo da Silva Lopez to support the attacking players. And sadly, again, it looks like he's going to be out for a while with a calf strain. Steve Lovell said that he hopes it's not too serious, but this is Billy Bingham, unfortunately. He doesn't have any luck at all with injuries, and we can only keep our fingers crossed and hope and pray for Billy's sake that it's not a serious one, but we're going to have to make do with him, without him again for a period of time, sadly. So all the best, Billy, and get well soon. But yeah, that is the only negative, the only downside to this video this week. It's another really good weekend. 2 Saturdays in a row where we've won 1-0. Gives us some breathing space between us and the danger zone, which is great. But for me, I'd start looking up soon. We go to Fleetwood at the weekend, and if we could pinch something there prior to the next home game on the 9th of March, then we could set ourselves up really well. Approaching the sort of last dozen games of the campaign. But yeah, that's enough from me tonight. We shall be back Thursday, hopefully myself and Boz, for the weekly review and match preview looking ahead to Fleetwood. But until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for retweeting and doing all you do, and up the Gills.